That situation is very similar to Arteta's situation. It's far from the truth. You know, that is some falsehood, that's some bollocks. You cannot be misleading your subscribers or those who view your channel. Some misleading them. They're not the same thing, and I'll prove it to you. Now, Arteta came in December, right? December 2019, midway through the season. Had no preseason, had no transfer window until he had to wait till January that we brought in two stopgap players in Cedric Suarez and Pablo Mari. Pablo Mari has moved on last year, and Cedric Suarez on the fringes of leaving the club. Now, let's compare that to Ten Hag. Ten Hag had a full preseason. He brought in Malacia, left back. He brought in Lisandro Martinez, a defender, right? He brought in Anthony, 100 million euros. He brought in Casemiro, 70 million euros. And he brought in Eriksen for free. Did you hear that? He brought in players to help him supplement his squad. Compare that to Arteta, who did not have that kind of finance. He did not have no preseason. He had to make do with what he had until the January that we brought in, like I said, stopgap players. So I think it's very, very disingenuous to compare both situations because we can see clearly they're not the same. Now, at that second season, what did he do? He tried to bring in quality players, right? And now, no. Before we get there, let's go back. The kind of defenders, because I remember McGoby saying that if you look at what Arteta met compared to what Ten Hag met, Ten Hag had the worst squad compared to Mikel Arteta, which is another lie. Now, Arteta came into Arsenal. Let me mention the defenders he had to work with. He had to work with Kolasinac, Mustafi, Socrates, right? Socrates, David Luiz, Bellerin. Compare that to what Ten Hag had to work with, right? Varane, Dalot, Wan-Bissaka, Lisandro Martinez, which he brought, Malacia, which he brought, Luke Shaw, who has been at the club. Compare both. Who has a worse defense among those two coaches or those two managers? So when I see this nonsense that, the way that Arsenal gave Arteta time, maybe Man, you should give Ten Hag time. I understand that's your own prerogative if you want to do that. But stop comparing apples to oranges. I've just mentioned one had a transfer window, one had a preseason. The other one didn't have any transfer window to work with or preseason. One had at least Champions League Varane. He brought in two defenders to help his team, right? Compared to one that had to work with horrible defenders who are not at the club anymore. Arteta had to deal with the fact that Ozil was becoming a nuisance at the club. He had to deal with the fact that Cristiano Ronaldo thought was better at the club. Third game to him, Arsenal had to alienate Ozil and finally paid him off, while Ten Hag had to do the same thing. But if you look at both teams, Arsenal had the bigger tax. Arteta had the bigger tax to deal with because he was less experienced. This was his first official job as a manager, not an assistant, as a manager, compared to